Hello everybody and thank you for joining us. Today's webinar is about the importance of data governance, data management and the distinction between the two. We'll also be touching on everyone's favourite subject, GDPR, and we'll also be discussing the importance of the role of the CDO. Well, my name is Don. My name is Philip, and we both work for a company called Kabula. And Kabula help businesses both small and large with end-to-end advanced analytics and cloud-based data management. For a little bit of housekeeping, the webinar should last about 20 to 25 minutes. If you'd like to email any questions or you have anything to ask about your data problems, please email those in and we'll be replying to those when we send you a copy of the webinar. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's start with the definition of data governance. The one that I find particularly interesting says, data governance is the management processes and policies necessary to ensure that data captured or generated within a company is of an appropriate standard to use, represents actual business facts, and has its integrity preserved when transferred to repositories, especially when this transfer involves aggregation or merging of different data sets. This definition comes from Peter James Thomas. Now, simply put, data governance is best defined as managing data with guidance, a strategy for ensuring that the data belonging to a particular organization is accurate, available, and secure, and is managed in a way so that it provides reliable data sets to inform crucial business decisions and to improve the performance of the company as a whole. It is a decision-making, monitoring, and enforcement body that has authority over data management. Data governance has a strategic role and often involves senior management. Therefore, in a typical enterprise organization, it is most often managed and implemented by IT, compliance, and data departments, together with C-suite, getting involved to various degrees as well. The reasons behind rising importance of data governance are ever-increasing volume of data coming from many different sources that can cause different data inconsistencies, data democratization, stemming from new self-service reporting and analytics initiatives, impact of regulatory requirements such as GDPR, and an increasing need for a common understanding of data and business language used across the organization to enable through cross-departmental cooperation and decision-making. Ultimately, data governance is about setting up correct processes to ensure consistent data quality. You can have the smartest data scientists, analysts, marketers, or salespeople possible, but if the system for data governance isn't working properly, your competitor can beat you not only because their data is of the quality, but also because they have internal processes that work. Next, let's define data management. Again, using a definition from the same author, an expert in data management and analytics, data management is the day-to-day management of data within an organization, which encompasses areas such as data architecture, data quality, data governance, and often some elements of data provision and/or regular reporting. The objective is to appropriately manage the lifecycle of data throughout the entire organization, which both ensures the reliability of data and enables it to become a valuable and strategic asset. In certain organizations, data management can be part of general analytics initiative, while in others, these are two different areas that work closely together to achieve shared objectives. Data management is the control of data quality, spanning architecture, security, policy, practices, procedures, and more. It describes how data as an asset is operationalized and used to support organizational strategy. It has evolved over years from a singular discipline to a more complex one, affecting our understanding of data. It covers the end-to-end lifecycle of data when it comes to accessing, storing, and using any data that is required. This results in better security, improved decision-making across departments, as well as improved regulatory compliance as a whole. Comparing the two disciplines, you can see there are major differences. While data governance focuses more on the overall strategic approach, data management, on the other hand, focuses more on the hands-on approach. Think data security and quality within the data governance discipline. Your data is becoming the most valuable asset your company has. Careless use can result in severe financial and/or reputational damage. When it comes to data access, proper data governance can also help make the process of accessing and sharing data more streamlined, more safe, and effortless. Among other examples within the data governance discipline would be data analytics. For example, think of constantly expanding volumes of data that only become assets if they are managed and analyzed properly. And decision making. High quality. Let's have a look at data management best practices. Below are just few out of many that result in better analytics overall. The first one, easy access to all sorts of data, a combination of traditional and emerging sources. Think on-premise and cloud databases, mobile applications, Internet of Things, social media, and many others. With access to more data, it's easier to quickly determine which data will best predict an outcome. Advanced analytics techniques easily accessible. This means to provide advanced analysis capabilities as part of the ETL flow for data analysts and engineers. Data quality, integral part of processes. Think about how many percent of all strategic processes fail because of poor data. Well, it's a basic equation. Garbage in equals garbage out. Another one, mindset change. This one means the data is not treated as an afterthought only. There is a clear data strategy from the beginning, meaning the company knows what does it want to do and why. Last but not least, data catalog. Data catalog is about having access to all data sources in easily consumable format by as many departments as possible across both technical and business roles. Now let's have a look at some challenges data management faces. The first one is quite simple. Collecting data is one thing, but managing it well enough and making sense of it another. What I mean by that is that companies should move beyond raw data collection with efficient systems for processing, storing, and validating data, as well as effective analysis strategies. The bigger picture. Think which answers you want the data to give you in the first place. Basically, each data collection step and management must lead toward acquiring the right data and analyzing it in order to get actionable intelligence necessary for making truly data-driven business decisions. When it comes to cloud, especially lately, I think, we've seen a lot of wild-style adoptions of multiple clouds as per different ad hoc requirements as they pop up within companies that prevent further reaping of all benefits cloud provides, like reduced infrastructure costs, think serverless infrastructures and architectures, higher scalability, and improved data security in general. Cross-departmental cooperation is all about different types of systems being used, different types of processing for handling data, as well as lack of responsibility. Last but not least, companies are quite often scared of data breaches. So even though the overall number of breaches in Q1 2018 is more than 50% down in a year-to-year comparison, as reported by InfoSecurity magazine, data breaches still pose a big threat to higher cloud adoption, which in general helps with data management. Let's discuss data management trends. The transition from in-house data management to adoption of third-party cloud services positively impacts changing business priorities, improves regulatory compliance, and helps increase data accessibility and disaster recovery, among other benefits. Based on the discussions we have with clients and business prospects, it's safe to say that today's data management model within organizations has no clear standard. Some companies use separate data management systems driven by different departments or business units. Some other have CDOs or CIO roles catered for setting up policies for data management company-wide, while the rest use a central master data framework model that sees local units have their own policies in place in comparison to the central one. Another trend is outsourcing. Among other benefits, think reduced costs, quicker time to value ratio, streamlined operations, etc. CDOs are the new oil in the field of data, I would say, as they help businesses navigate regulatory demands and manage enterprise-wide data governance. All this while maximizing value of organizations' information. Last but not least, the importance of data about data keeps on growing as it contains information necessary to understand and effectively use data across organization. Think business definitions and lineage, for example, further supporting data governance and data management demands. Let's briefly talk about GDPR, even though this topic deserves a webinar on its own because of its depth. Looking at the GDPR in the context of data governance, it's no big surprise that data security is effectively becoming the #1 topic of today. Because GDPR, the all-encompassing new data protection regulation, carries fines ranging from 4% of worldwide annual turnover to 20 million euros, whichever is greater. Data governance and GDPR go hand in hand. A strong data governance program is critical to the data visibility and categorization needed for GDPR compliance. It means that it enables organizations to discover, understand, govern, and socialize its data assets. And understanding the data lineage is absolutely necessary and critical in the context of GDPR. Looking at the visual, everything starts with strategy that helps put into place policies and compliance regulations in general. This strategy then creates processes that are applied throughout the organization across both departments and individuals. And these processes enable proper data collection, storage, and management. And also that there is technology as the back end of the whole data governance system. Now, let's explore the role of a Chief Data Officer. This role is responsible for defining and implementing the strategy and methods by which the organization acquires, manages, analyzes, and governs data. It also carries the strategic responsibility to drive the identification of new business opportunities through more effective and creative use of data. So aside from the actual technical perspective, understanding of engineering and how the data gets collected, stored, managed, and accessed, this person should mostly have the understanding of wider business, understanding how the business works, which departments work together, be able to spot inefficiencies, and suggest improvements. Is there an ideal CDO candidate then? I don't think so, as each and every business will have different requirements. What's important to keep in mind though, is that quite often the challenge lies in an unrealistic expectations from the side of the business. Meaning that by the time the CDO gets hired, problems will get solved automatically, and that's not really the case. Let's wrap up with technology. Is there an ideal all-in-one data management technology for each and every company to use? Here at Kebula, we believe there is. And it should be serverless by design, meaning it requires no maintenance and is immediately ready, shortening the time to value ratio. It is flexible and extendable by nature, meaning it is built on Docker, allowing you to connect to any type of source there is, regardless if it's on-premise, in the cloud, or, for example, part of IoT ecosystem. It should be cost efficient, so you only pay for what you use, and there are no hidden costs involved, like for training, additional packages, etc. It should overlap with advanced analytics and data science, and these should be enabled by default, so that your data science team can actually extend its skills immediately. Last but not least, there should be no vendor lock-in. So it should be built on open source technologies. It should allow you to leave anytime, and also it should allow you to take out your data whenever you want.
Well, thank you for that, Philip. If you like today's webinar, please tune into next week's, where we'll be discussing marketing automation and marketing 360. As mentioned, please submit your questions. We'll be replying to those when we send out a copy of your webinar. And feel free to share it with everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a good afternoon.